Senator Marco Rubio joins me now to talk more about this. First of all, what do you think of the president, the administration's response to this hurricane, considering we just went through their lack of response when it came to Hawaii? Florida obviously knows how to handle these things. With government assistance, obviously, it's all the better. But what would you say? How are things going?
Well, we would hope that hurricane recovery and things of this nature continue to be one of the few things that's left out there that's nonpartisan and non-political. So, I'm encouraged that the president's continued that tradition, at least in his response. We have a more fundamental problem, and that is a disaster relief fund inside of FEMA is woefully low. We knew that back in June. Since June, I've been trying to get money into it, knowing we're going into hurricane season, not knowing we're going to have fires in Maui and so forth. And they don't have enough money to do any of this and moving forward, especially as we get into recovery. When you add in this storm and you add in the fires in Maui, and by the way, there's a bunch of previous storms where the reimbursements to local governments are still on the pipeline. And what they've said is two things. The first is they're going to use the limited money they have left to prioritize these new storms ahead of the reimbursements from the old storms, and that's a real problem for local governments. But the more nefarious one, and the one I hope they back off on, is they've been saying, we'll do disaster relief, but we're going to pair it up with Ukraine funding. Okay, no matter how anybody feels about Ukraine funding, those two things should never be one for the other. Okay?
Right.
When it comes to taking care of Americans that have been harmed, that should be priority. And I hope the White House backs off of that position.
I'm glad you brought that up. Speaking of which, Senator Scott is demanding an immediate vote, as you know, on disaster aid in the Senate next week. He says, quote, Biden and politicians in Washington have been playing games with FEMA's disaster relief fund and insisting that this critical domestic aid be tied aid for Ukraine to foreign aid for Ukraine. We demand that Congress does what's right for American families, starting with ensuring our federal government has all the resources it needs to show up after disasters now and in the future. Would you tie in federal aid for Americans in need in Florida who are going to suffer a very long hurricane season, considering this one hit so early in the season? This type of hurricane you wouldn't even see until October. And then you look at the money that's gone into Ukraine. As a Floridian, how does that make you feel?
Well, I don't think the two issues should ever be linked. Ukraine is a foreign policy decision. We need to prioritize to what level is that in our national interest and fund it accordingly. But when it comes to this is the number one obligation of the American government is the safety and security of Americans and helping them recover from events such as this. And by the way, it's not just Florida. I mean, this storm, as you can see, and you all have been broadcasting, is headed to Georgia and the Carolinas. And then we don't know what it does there's models when it gets out to the Atlantic Ocean that has a turn. I don't want to get ahead of myself. And we're just into August. I mean, there's still a few months ahead here of hurricane season, and then unforeseen events like what happened out in Maui. None of these things. See, here's what will happen. And look, by the way, we were sounding the alarm on this link with Ukraine 2 weeks ago. We were talking about this. So this is not all of a sudden that we knew this was happening. These guys have been playing this game for a while. So Senator Scott will try to unanimous consent agreement next week. He'll try to get a vote on the package we'd all put together. And some Democrat is probably going to stand up and say, well, I object unless you include the Ukraine funding. So I keep an eye on that, because I think that to me was unacceptable. Never happened before, shouldn't happen when it comes to this. And I hope it doesn't happen. But that's what they're signaling right now.
How could any politician play politics when it comes to rescuing Americans? Because that's what this FEMA funding is for. Okay, it's to rescue Americans and to protect Americans. I can't understand how that could obviously be a political issue. This isn't a political issue. This is a humanitarian issue for Americans.
Right. Well, I think you see people out there like the administration who desperately want Ukraine funding, believe that they're not going to be able to get it through the House or whatever. And so they say the only way we're going to be able to get this is we have to make it as part of a deal with something everybody wants, or that the other side really, really wants, which is disaster recovery funding. And so they would link the two in that way. Now, again, that's what they were signaling last week. Now, maybe after the storm, maybe after Maui, maybe after you see these images, and we haven't seen it all yet. It's still working its way through Florida and then these other states. Maybe they'll back off. But the level of cynicism that I've seen in the past leads me to believe that it only takes one senator to object, and they'll find someone to do it, unfortunately. So I hope I'm wrong, and I hope that's not the case, because I think it would be hurtful to the cause of Ukraine, because you're going to turn a lot of people against it.
Yeah. FEMA says it's going to prioritize available funding for critical response efforts to Idalia, the Maui fires, and any other extreme weather events that may come our way without interruption. Let's hope they hold to that. Senator Marco Rubio, thank you very much. Appreciate you coming
Thank
on.
you. Thanks.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.